Hello everybody, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, wherever you are, whatever you do, love, peace, harmony, happiness. Today, we have our very first guest of our show. So this is like, I am just, excited that all through these years, our first taping down in the village, NYU, and through these years, we've just always had the opportunity to bring back this rising star, RonAmber, who's just multi-talented around the globe, around the block. How are you today, Miss RonAmber?
To you, I'm good. I'm very good.
Well, tell me all about what we've been missing, because we haven't had you in our presence in such a while. Bring us up to date and tell me all about it.
I think the last time I was with you guys, we were somewhere in Midtown, maybe, at the studio. I did some poetry.
Okay.
And
have you been writing?
I have been writing. I've been working on my doctorate, which I just finished, and I haven't had a chance to write as much because I've been having to write other things for school. But I do have a couple of, I would say, poems in progress.
Okay.
And I have a performance next month at the Black Academy of Arts and Letters here in Dallas, so I'm trying to get some things together for that. But since then, I think I've just been here in Dallas working, teaching over at Paul Quinn College, one of the local HBCUs, a great institution. They're doing a lot of great things for the students over there. And I've been just furthering my career as a project manager and gotten into some digital skills training and earned some tech certifications and really just sort of trying to be a better educator. So all in all, I think that's like the gist of what I've been doing.
Well, that sounds amazing, and look at you, you're happy, you're smiling, so I'm knowing that that's a good thing. On the creative side, other than that, what about your music?
I was actually recently in touch with my bass player, one of my band members. Actually, the day before yesterday, we were talking about getting together this summer and trying to strategize on how we can make that happen. And so we do have a couple of songs that we have been working on over the last few years, and then COVID kind of put a pause on things. So we're ready to get going again. And looking forward to making some more music. And I've also started in the last few years DJing. So I've just been trying to increase my skills bit by bit, and hopefully looking forward to integrating some of that in the work that I've been doing with the New Night Baby. So yeah, I'm excited. Just all kinds of ways to develop. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, me too. Wow, sounds great. Just the idea that you guys, the New Night Babies, have stayed together so long, and you proceeding with your education. Just me and my sister, we coming to San Diego. So listen, we're going to be right there, so you know that. I can't wait. It's going to be a family affair. All my family from Dallas.
Yeah.
We're going to have a ball in Cali.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to it. Everybody's really excited, and I'm really happy to be kind of closing this chapter and turning a new corner. I really have been in school my entire life in some form. So now to be kind of finished, it feels a little different.
As a teacher and as a professional and with your doctrine, there's always going to be some things that they're going to want you to come for a couple of classes. That never ends until, learning is an everyday thing anyway. You know that.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm excited. I know your mom is she's just doing somersaults. She's so excited.
Yeah, she's very proud.
And your nieces, you're communicating, they watch you. And you teaching them all, you teaching the world. That's wonderful, RonAmber. Now, tell me a little bit about what's next. Tell me what's next. I mean, you done accomplished it all. I mean, are you going to give us a little bit of the poetry, just a little touch? I know you don't like to share it to you, but maybe just a little touch. Are you going to bless us with a little thing for a holiday? Let the people hear what's been on your mind, what you're writing about, what you're talking about.
You want me to do it now or a little later or whenever? It's fine.
You just bring your awesomeness whenever you like to.
Actually, I need to pull up one of the new pieces.
Okay.
I wasn't ready. I could have had them queued up for you guys.
Well, you usually have them right at the top of your head.
I mean, I do, but some of the new ones, like I'm still learning and also trying to strike a balance between pressuring myself to like memorize everything, but also like remembering the greats like Amir Baraka, who, when you look at some of his performances, he read from the book and from the paper, and like how that is also, that's also okay.
And
So,
that's cool,
um,
because we're here. It's your show. We just want to grab it and take all that you will give us. Just bring it
yeah.
in.
So this poem I wrote when there's a local rapper named Mo3. He was killed, I think, a year ago, last year.
In Dallas.
And yeah, in Dallas, social media, they had like a Mo3 challenge because he has this really popular song called Outside. You saw a lot of rappers and a lot of singers kind of giving their version of the song for the challenge, and I didn't hear any poets, and so I was like, you know what, if I wonder what I would write to this particular piece of music, and this is what I came up with.
Okay.
I mean, what can you say that hasn't been said already? Except maybe, God, the things you thought we could bear, they too heavy. They keep saying, y'all tough, y'all soldiers, it'll get better. Just focus on the road not taken and see if you make it. But we not though. And we don't keep count of the funerals announced, but it's a lot though. I remember growing up watching the blacks versus the Vatos, feeling sad, thinking everybody mad at each other. Misunderstanding, nah, it's the pressure we're under. Somebody partner get shot, homie get robbed, your best homie get got, you can't find a job. And in the meantime, you think your resilience is growing, but you really losing your mind. Stumbling over the boxes we hide our sorrows in, freestyling and smiling, pretending to be whole. Find a way every day, find a way back. What it's the same and it feels insane. I keep thinking, hell of a time to be alive and black in the universe. No, not always, but alive and black feels like a curse sometimes. It's the best of both worlds, living in blackness, joy and pain, brilliance and insanity all at once. You feel so chosen and targeted, and nothing can stop you from dying except a t shirt. It's cold out here, been cold since Billy told us spring of 39. Song's been saying it ever since. Nothing stops the dying except t shirt. Fashion, RIP, buried deep in the archives of social media. It was nice meeting you. Hopefully. There was none for you, but if there's hope for me, I pray the songs can end a better way. They find something else to say other than run and hide. Don't go outside. So if you hear that song, it's called Outside. And I don't know, I just thought that it might be important and also interesting to approach giving a rendition of their song, but through poetry, through spoken word. And so that's what I came up with.
Yeah, that's deep. And then what an honorable thing to do for somebody that got killed in this business, this rap business. It's so dangerous, huh? I
Yeah,
didn't realize it
yeah.
was so dangerous like that. But I know here, in California, New York, there's always some kind of thing going on. In
Yeah,
Chicago, but Dallas now too, I guess it's getting a widespread violence, more violence, huh?
and I think, you know, we're seeing the impact and the effect of social media when social media has more influence than um,
The teachers
maybe
like
the
yourself.
teachers and the parents and maybe your just sort of immediate environment that normally would kind of guide you and direct you in a way. You see people you see young people develop an attitude about life that is, I think, based on what they see in online, and not necessarily that's grounded in a particular kind of morals that they learn maybe from their family. And I know we say, well, you can't blame online, you can't blame the internet for what happens in people's lives, but I think we have to also acknowledge the ways in which, you know, social media and the way we live our lives online today does influence us a lot, and it does have an impact in a way in how people perceive themselves. So sometimes when I see just violence, just random violence that erupts, in our community and in the hip hop community, you can't detach it from the fact that We have been really impacted by how we have developed as individuals, and our own self identities, and whether or not we see ourselves as worthy and valid, and how we compare ourselves to the next man, um, based on what we see online. And for a lot of people, that can be a real struggle, I think, because especially when you live your life online in a way that you you don't you care about other people's perception based on how you're presenting yourself online. It's hard to just to ignore it, when certain kinds of conflicts arise. And so, um I think it's unfortunate, but I think it's just a sign of the time. It's a sign of the times.
And it's really sad because young people can't feel the music the way they want to. They can't express themselves without the crabs and the jealousy wanting to shoot and kill, like bang, bang, bang. Because
Yeah.
what did this man do? It sounds to me like nothing from what you said. He was just a rapper that had a couple of tunes. People were jealous, and
Well, he was a bit of an instigator, but again, I still don't think that is any reason for anybody to lose their life. Like, I personally don't believe anything you do on the internet should cost you your life, because it's the internet. You know what I mean? And so everybody is making money off of and benefiting off of what the internet allows you to sort of like present, in terms of
mm-hmm,
your persona. Like, you can be whoever you want to be on the internet. So I mean, that's what everybody's doing. But the problem is when it spills from the internet, when it's not just about internet stuff, when it is about things that are happening also in the street. And there's this sort of like this thin line when I would say life starts to imitate art, uh, and you know things that really um, should be sort of left in one sort of arena become a part of your real life, and how that can really become dangerous in a lot of ways. And again, like I said, we really can't ignore the role and impact that social media has on our lived experiences every day. It does sort of sometimes move from being online to being real life situations where people like us would think, why would we ever let that
well, it's
happen?
not
But
reality. It's fiction too. A lot of it is made up stuff that a person
yeah,
just, I don't understand why the young people would think when they know that that's just made up. Ideas that people come to their minds with. It's a form of creativity. Why would they want to judge that judgmental and even take offense to something that's just the author writes a book. You don't like the book, so
right.
you run after the person and kill them. You don't
Right.
like their new dance style or their new dress code. I mean, it's absurd. And the gun violence, what is going on? What are young people thinking about? I know you got to ask yourself that every day, particularly now that these kids are being so violent towards educators now. And just recently the anniversary of Sandy Hook. Now, who would think to kill innocent little children? What could they have done, little kids?
And I think for a long time, for too long probably, we have not really as a society, and I can say specifically here in the United States, because this is where you really see the issue happening, right? You don't really see that kind of mass shooting happening in other parts of the world. Sure, they do have those kinds of, they do have sudden,
Incidents.
eruptions of violence,
Yeah.
but here in the US, it really is, it's really a societal issue that
Mm-hmm.
we haven't dealt with. And I think that we didn't grow up with, and we say it all the time, how we didn't really grow up with this concept of like mental illness and therapy, and kind of dealing with the sickness of the mind, the challenges that you face in your own brain. And
Mm-hmm.
I think we see now what the consequences of that is, not really taking care of our mental health as a society, and not really sort of making those kinds of opportunities available via healthcare, not making them affordable, not encouraging people to seek, mental health support when they need it, so you don't grow up with those habits of maybe talking about the things that are going on in your mind. And then when you couple that with any kind of drug use or any kind of trauma or any kind of individual internal challenges that could potentially drive you over the edge, you see very strange things happening, like people displaying just random violence that you think it can only be some kind of mental illness. And even if, right, that person made a conscious decision to do certain kinds of things, it's still mental illness,
It's scary
so
because you're afraid to do. Well, most of us cope with it in one way or other. Whatever we really love, we tend to kind of get focused and get into that so that we don't have to worry about all of these wild things going on around us, so to speak. You know what I mean? If
yeah,
it's music, if it's a concert, if it's ballet, if it's a dance, something to ease our mind and make us feel at ease. You know what I mean? For at
yeah.
least for the short time, and then right back to the violence in the street. Who's going to, people are killing you with the cars now, running you over and keep on going. I don't know, we had a couple of minutes of clocked out, but
Yeah, I see. I don't know what happened.
yeah,
Uh,
me either.
you have to have habits, right? You have to develop some habits where you realize, where you find ways to deal with the issues and the challenges that are happening in your life, you know?
Right.
Um, and that's just it. I'm sorry about the light. It's just like, but yeah. So if you don't have those habits form, those healthy habits form, then you find yourself, um, kind of prey to, whatever circumstances you fall under. And sometimes then you need tools and resources to kind of help you move, help move yourself from one place to another in a healthy way. And when you don't have it in place, or you don't know how to find it, then you know it becomes difficult. It's a challenge that you don't know how to solve. Um it can be really detrimental, and as we see, it can be very dangerous.
People are scared now. People are scared to let their kids come out. The other
Yeah,
problem is the social media and all that. The kids don't go out and do the things and have fun and stuff like that, like what we used to do anyway. They staying on the computer all the time, and that's all they know. And what do you think when the kids and you're trying to teach them something and they're fooling around on their phone and on the computer and everything? Or do you have a set thing for them to put the phone in a bag or put it in the desk or whatever? But you're trying
well,
to teach adults. They should know. They should at least know that, though, right, RonAmber?
okay, so I teach, you're right, I teach adults. And a lot of times, well, they are also sometimes notorious for not putting their phones away. And so we do have those issues, I will say, in my classroom. But um it's again about what people are used to and the habits that they have.
The lack of
And
concentration. They can't
right,
concentrate for
right,
a
right,
class time.
right.
What,
Which is
40
a whole
minutes?
nother thing. Which is a whole nother thing when we think about, um, how technology has been sort of,
Pros and
des-
cons, for sure.
yeah, designed to keep us kind of tethered to the phone and tethered to the device. And the consequence of that is that we, um, we feed the data machine, the machine that wants to be able to track our habits and how we use apps and how how we click on things and how we move things. And all of that data is money for a lot of companies, right?
Right.
And so they've figured out an algorithm or developed a formula for keeping us constantly running back to our devices because we're not aware of those things, that are sort of
Like,
at work,
yeah.
right?
And root based,
We
and nobody goes back to
fall
the
into the
that's
trap.
the thing. I wonder is maybe in the next 5, 10 years will people even know that there was such thing as books that actually exist, that you could actually carry a book? Because I'm
I
not sure if
mean,
it's a good thing for these kids now because they don't go in the library and they don't study and they don't read. It's not
yeah,
like what you're used to, and you just got your doctorates. You know how serious it is to actually be able to read these children a real story and have them look at designs and pictures and things like that. What is the course? What do you think is going to happen in the next 10, 15 years, in your opinion?
well, I think that, and I can only speak for myself, but I think I've had the kind of success I've had as a scholar, as an academic, as a student, because of the habits that I developed at a young age. reading books, looking things up in the dictionary, writing things down by hand. I had a lot of practice because I didn't have, this sort of easy access of digital technology, to kind of pull me away from those habits. And I don't think it's realistic to say, oh, we got to go back to those habits, because I don't think that
No,
we
we
are
won't be
going
able
back to
to
those
because
habits,
you
right?
just said the key word, money.
And I don't think that we're going to go back. I think that we can only move forward, and in a way, we should only move forward. I think that there are a lot of ways to be successful without those, you
Too
know,
much conflict and too much hate. What
yeah,
about
and
the
and
hate though,
and there are
Ron
ways
Amber?
there are ways to use technology to move, forward and to progress in areas that we lack, but we have to really be dedicated to figuring out what that looks like. And we have to make sure everyone has the skills to actually be able to utilize the tools, that when we figure it out and what's there. So I think that, I think in 10 years we'll see just a new version of, of what this sort of, what is developed in the last sort of 10, 15 years, since of technology,
Yeah,
last 20 years, I would say.
yeah,
And then we'll see really, like, where the gaps are, and how we've responded to those gaps.
yeah. I mean, really, I guess that sums it up in a nutshell because with the holidays upon us, you don't even feel the Christmassy type spirit anymore. Anyway, I think that everything is more materialistic type behavior. Like you said, it's about habits and behavior. Do the kids, do the young people even think about, well, what can I get for my mom? Or what can I get? I know that because generally the people the have-nots usually have a few more minutes to think about these kind of things because of the appreciation that we have for our family to do these things. But the ones the have-nots that have been spoiling their kids, they're just on the same level as selfishness. You know what I mean?
I mean, I remember being a selfish kid too in a lot of ways, but I think, the sort of consumer culture was not so prevalent, still. It was like I had this idea of what I wanted, and I really felt like I needed to have it. But now, the idea of really needing, right, things that you don't have, that you may not actually need, it's more intense. So it it's a challenge for, I think, young people in a way that it wasn't really a challenge for me. And I can't say all of them, but it certainly seems that, young people today are a lot more, a lot more interested in consuming and buying and owning and having things.
Okay. So the next time, Amber, our time always flies by, but the next
I
time, I guess
know.
you gotta give us a couple of seconds of all these things that you've been doing, you've been DJing. I guess you gotta give us a clip of maybe about 2 minutes of the music that you're putting together. Show us
Yeah, that would be great.
put us a couple of the shows that you've been putting together down there in Dallas. Ideally, I know the family is doing well, so that's a good thing, and I'll actually get to see you very soon, so that's a good thing also. And I know your niece is just loving the university and being a vet. How's things going? Good?
Yeah, she finished school, and she's a vet tech. Well, she's a veterinary assistant right now. So one
Okay,
of them, and the other one is still in college, and the other, my
okay.
oldest niece is just working. So yeah,
So we got it going on. So with that, until we meet again, Ron Amber,
absolutely.
give everybody this holiday cheer.
I
Tell
will. You
everybody that
guys as well.
you're the first show. Tell everybody how much you love them here in the
I love all
studio.
you guys. Thank
And
you
how
so
much
much
we
for
love
having
you and
me.
miss you until we could grab you up. But now that we can do this thing, we got to do something when you jump over to Berlin.
Yeah,
We want to get the
absolutely.
studio.
I
We
love
want to get
to.
in there with
Yeah,
the new music and all that. And we want
yeah,
to hear some more of the poetry. You
absolutely,
blessed us with one,
absolutely.
and
We'll
we
be
really
ready.
appreciate it. It was beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so much.
much. Peace and love. I'll get
All
to see you
right.
soon in a couple of
Okay.
days.
Right on. All right. See you soon.
Sayonara. Nam yo horenge
Sayonara.
kyo, beautiful sister.
Nam yo holding gay kill. Ciao.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching this episode of The Real Self Talk with Sylvia Gina Hunt. And now take a look at Better Sus in Berlin featuring Wynton Kelly Stevenson by RonAmber's band The New Night Babies. Enjoy.
There is sun casting yellow across the courtyard, scalloping the buildings like the lace on Roberta's socks. I remember many times I passed through these streets, cobblestones rumbling beneath my wheels, going somewhere, going anywhere, just moving, just moving. I buried my romance in Berlin years ago. Gave up on the fairy tale, lost interest in that fantasy kind of love. I blame the songs, the sway in the music, the bass in the beat, the dope induced deep, inherent to the way we keep reaching for the melody, hiding our love like Hathaway, touching us there like Nina, spreading music along the back of tenor throats. C. Robeson, a bomb full of notes expanding the way we feel, something growing inside of crescendos, growing real and sounding off, then bouncing back and breaking down the bravado. Bubbling beneath the surface, the words find us hiding on purpose, meaning to interrogate us into the blues, twist us up in the saxophone sassafras, and leave us dangling from the side of a bed, like someone else's fingers between your thighs, like someone else's image between your eyes. Dangling from the side of your bed with someone else's fingers between your thighs, like someone else's image between your eyes. Going somewhere, just moving, just moving. The saxophone, sassafras, hiding my love like Hathaway, spinning my world like top toys on needle edges and pins. I step to the ledge with no brakes, and then going somewhere, just moving, just moving. The saxophone, sassafras, hiding my love like Hathaway, spinning my world like top toys on needle edges and pins. I step to the ledge with no brakes, and then
B.E.A.T.